Hello, my name is Lou,
I'm Katie.
and you're listening to Files from the Other Side. This week we're opening up the files on
Dreams slash dream interpretations.
slash the other side of Sleepyland. Or is it Sleepyland?
Or, yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
another realm that we go into when we close our eyes and
Oh,
become
Jesus.
unconscious?
I I think I argue no.
Okay.
Let's see if you change my mind.
LOL. Oh, I don't
Because I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a hard I don't know for me. I may be well studied and a psychic, but I will never pretend to know what the realms are. I think the only clue that I've gotten in my entire time of being a psychic medium and spirit communicator is that there are higher and lower realms and there are middle realms. And the
Yeah.
middle realms is where I do my best work. I can go into higher and lower realms. It takes a lot more energy to do so. But the middle realms is where I do the majority of my work and the best work and where I kind of am supposed to be when it comes to my humanity and the work I do as a spirit communicator. I think the higher and lower I go into realms, and I think you can go this way too. I just think once you're in the middle realm, you can go this way as far as you want, if that makes sense. The four directions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
I
like...
I think of the realms as the way Buddhism lays it out. There's the realm of like gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings.
I guess
That's how
I think
that's
that
how I
that
think of
is
it.
could be arranged in the same way that I'm saying, but it's probably not per the cosmology.
Yeah, I
So
think that you have a similar idea, and yeah, it's just like the technical layout is slightly different because of
the reason I like to go with the four directions is because it keeps me locationally and energetically uh like safe, but
spatially
also just
contained.
like yeah, contained in a way that's like I'm not going too high, too low, too far, too fast, too strong. Like it could get overwhelming depending on where exactly I'm going. But I think like one thing I've been debating lately is another point about aliens. This is just another side tangent, but like I'm trying to decide how far up aliens are versus how far out they are. You know what I mean? Like in this concept I'm giving you.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out where exactly I'm located when that phenomenon is happening to me. It's a new investigation, a new investigatory spirit communication type situation. But what I do know is that empathy, compassion, and righteous justice for the earth is a part of that phenomenon. So, like, the earth, I think, has something to do with that phenomenon, so much so that I don't actually think I'm that far or too high. Which, that's my theory, my rolling theory about it, I guess.
Okay.
So, when it comes to dreams, in the same vein, I don't think we're too far. I
Mm-mm.
think we're in like it's like just like it almost feels like a different timeline. You're just like, oh, this is just a different timeline I'm swimming through when you go to sleep.
Mm. When you
Sometimes,
That'd be fun if that was interesting.
yeah,
Mm.
lots to think about for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, so what we were going to do today was we were going to bring up some of our juicy, juicy dreams for our audience.
Mm, mm, mm.
Who would like
So
to
juicy.
start?
So juicy. You go first,
Okay.
and then I will straight up read to you guys. I want to end on my prophetic dream from like a couple weeks ago, but I will. This is my dream journal, you guys, that I haven't written in since 2022. If anybody's from San Francisco, this is the last journal that was bought in Ambassador Toys on West Portal ever,
Wow.
because my brother worked there when it closed down. So that was like,
Wow.
yeah.
That's sick.
Ah,
I'll show you my dream journal too.
oh
Here
my
it is.
God, yes.
It has
Oh,
like gold foil. It comes with a pen
oh,
that kind of matches.
she's sexy. She's
The
sexy
pages
beast.
are like clean too, dude.
Mm.
This is from Marshall's in Spokane.
I am such a stationery whore.
Oh, same, dude. And I keep this journal tight,
Toy.
because it's sacred. My dreams are sacred to me.
This is my current journal, which I usually carry my journal around on my person. This is so pretty. It's one of those ones that only lives at home. This does not
Yeah.
get carried around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this wouldn't get carried around.
No,
To
no,
save
no,
my
no.
life. So I'm going to go back to April 4th of 2024.
Mm.
And the way I record my dreams is I just have bullet points of what I remember almost chronologically. Sometimes it's not chronological, but it's just kind of like a play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is April 4th, 2024. And I'm going to have to Google to see if anything interesting was actually happening in April 4th. But anyways, so the first part of my dream, I am underwater diving beneath swimmers trying to reach a dock end or a boat. So like I'm underneath the water trying to swim up beneath some swimmers who are kind of ahead of me, and I'm trying to make it to a dock. It's almost like the game you would play when you were a kid when you'd swim underneath a dock to see if you could make it to the other side without drowning. That's what it felt like. And then
Sure.
so I see my partner Haley being dragged around by some average looking guy. She looked soaked in the water, but really pale. And she tells me in this like pale, totally out of it way, she says that she's with this other guy and they leave. And I just sort of accept it and move on. Like she's not my wife, but she looks really hella sick. And then all of a sudden I'm in this different realm again. So that was like the first part. The second part, I'm on an ayahuasca trip with Courtney, and I put ayahuasca in quotes because I do not know that that's what it was, but
Could have
that's
been
what
masculine, but there's something
it was
akin.
kind of like that.
Yeah. It
That
was like a
vibe.
hallucinatory.
Yeah, so me and Courtney were sitting on this like lodge bench in like inside a lodge, and we're drinking this tea, and I remember the tea looked like lotus tea, how you like put flowers in it and then it would like expand and become tea.
Mm.
And I remember looking at the tea and then drinking it and feeling physically ill and hurt while seeing the spirits, because like spirits started, like all the hallucinations started right after I drank the tea, and I say I was seeing spirits, but I started getting scared because I was getting sick. And then I just realized how many spirits I'm seeing who want to communicate with me. So then this guy comes and he tells me he's a shaman or a doctor. He tells me like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And then I say like, "Oh, like I'm having stomach pain. I have like bubbles in my stomach that hurt and are stiff." And he puts me under for a surgery. Yeah, it's not like bodily surgery though. It was like I remember going under, but nothing in my body was ever cut up. So it was almost like
Mm.
psychic surgery. And then I have a hard time with how he knocks me out, but I eventually succumb to what happens, and then I wake up. So I come out, and there are so many people waiting for me. It's like there's a waiting room right outside my surgery, and Courtney's there. And I think I see a bunch of other people. But I also see my dad, who has passed, by the way. So anytime I see him in a dream, it really freaking freaks me out. I see and
I
talk to my
wish
dad
you'd
about.
taken notes. I was on an interpretation website. I only took notes on the teeth falling out dream because I've had that one so many fucking times.
Yeah.
But there was one of the things is like when you see dead relatives and stuff like that. I didn't look that up. Sorry. I wish I.
Oh, it's okay, because I think we have these other books that we could probably look at, so.
Yeah. Mine's just like symbols. My lips, plump lips forecast problems and disagreements in a romantic relationship. Lobster. To dream of eating a lobster is a sure sign that you will finally get what's due to you.
Oh.
That's fun.
That's scary. I've never eaten a lobster in my dream, thank God. But also I have a dictionary of symbols, which is what I will use to try to see. I'm going to try to pull out like the biggest symbol of this dream after I'm done and see if we can't suss
Yeah.
through what that is. So anyways, my dad, who R.I.P., he's in my dream, and he talks about wanting me to meet another spirit, and he calls it the mullet spirit, like the haircut, the mullet spirit. And I laugh at the mullet style I see, and there's this guy sitting at a table, and he has this mullet. He has like a blonde mullet. And then all of a sudden I'm in a zombie apocalypse. So again, dream switch. Like
I love
all
it when
in
you
one
get like
dream.
8 dreams in one. Like,
Yeah, dude, my dreams are often like that, where I get like at least 3 different storylines in one night. So we're in the zombie
I always go
apocalypse
back
world.
to the same dream. Like, I'll have one dream for 8
Ooh.
hours. I always go back. Like, I'll wake up and be like, that was freaky, and then go right back into where I left off, which is crazy. Is that technically how you lucid dream?
We'll get there. We'll see.
We'll get there. Sorry.
Discuss.
That's for later in the episode.
So I'm in a big group and we untrap ourselves, but the zombies hear us and start to swarm us. A girl falls to her death, and I get minorly scratched by a zombie, but punch out a bunch of zombies. I think I'm trying to get through a door. Until then, I see a boss zombie, which I don't know if you've ever seen or played zombie video games, but there's like this concept that some zombies have superpowers that other zombies don't have based on the conditions that they were turned into a zombie around.
Sure.
So like in The Walking Dead, there's this zombie that's in a well, and he's like a super squelchy zombie that like yeah, it's really nasty. So I know, but listen, this zombie in my dream, he pukes this acid vomit at me, and he gets me. Like, I die to like with this acid vomit that he pukes all over me. And I go dark, and then I wrote this thing that says "or through dream portals?" ? I don't know if I'm just going through a different dream portal. And I guess that's the end of the dream. I was
gonna say, you
alive.
usually wake up when you die in a dream.
Sometimes I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes I will wait a while to wake up. I'll kind of fade into this nothingness, and then I wake up like either in another dream or yeah.
That's wild.
Okay. So what do we think is the biggest symbol of that dream, and why did I have it? Is it seeing the dead people? Is it seeing the spirits? Or is there something else? The water was there, I guess. The zombies. Do you have a zombie entry? I don't know if I have a zombie entry.
Let me look up if I have a zombie entry. No.
Yeah, I don't have zombie either. Zone and Zodiac, but I don't have zombie.
Yeah, I have Zodiac, Zipper, Zebra, and Zoo in my Z section. Okay, your father, the spirits, water are all gonna be legit symbols. The water, I mean the dock. Oh, let me look up if I have a dock.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Swimming in docks, I'll look up.
I'll look up the ocean. I'm gonna look up ocean as an entry.
Was it the ocean or was it a lake?
It could have been either. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I would say it was a lake because not that you can't have docks.
I found an entry for ocean. Should I look up lake instead, though?
Well, we can do both. To dream of being on a dock, forecast happy times and financial security. To dive into clear water indicates that you will overcome some indiscretion. If the water was murky, you will have to weather the consequences.
It wasn't murky. I was just underneath all of the stuff until I came out on top of the dock and saw it.
So, you're probably... Water indicates you will overcome indiscretion. Straight jacket. Oh my god. Wait, no swimming? Okay, apparently I don't have swimming in this. Which seems like an oversight. I'm gonna look up lake.
I have an entry. Okay, in the ocean entry it says, in keeping with the general symbolism of water, both fresh and salt, the ocean stands for a sum of all possibilities of one plane of existence. Having to regard all its characteristics, one may deduce whether these potentialities are positive or negative. The ocean then denotes an ambivalent situation.
Interesting.
That is really interesting.
lake. To sail on a smooth, calm lake indicates a life of ease. If the lake was stormy and apparent failure will eventually lead to a success.
Maybe it's just all my spirit communication success that I've had. I mean, literally in the last couple years since I've picked up divination, started communicating with spirits, and then come out as a spirit communicator, I feel like I've had more success in what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis than I ever had in my past. I feel like I've always been a bad news bears, bad luck kind of person. And it's not just to be like, oh, like, woe is me. It's more like, just, I grew up not really looking back on my life as something that was good to look back on. Only more recently have I looked back on the last couple of years and been like, I've had more blessings. I've been able to see the blessings. And a lot of that early childhood stuff I feel like is still blocked out of my memory just because of the choices I make with my mental. But like, I guess it's really nice to see that change.
That shift in perspective.
Yeah, it's like, and it feels deeper than just like, I have to think about it. It's almost like, you know what it is? It comes with gratefulness. I feel like the more you practice gratefulness, the more you are able to see blessings in your life. And I don't mean gratefulness in the way that like a fucking therapist will tell you to be grateful. I mean like actual gratefulness. Like how do you practice that and mean it? You know what I mean? Instead of just saying it in the mirror. I think saying it in the mirror repetitively is a good way to start, because I think that's how you embody something that you actually mean.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, the way I practice gratefulness is like, I mean, the way that probably most therapists tell you to like do it is like, I keep oh my God, where's my bullet journal? It's in another room. But like, I literally write down, I don't necessarily do this at the end of the day. I try to. Ideally, I do this at the end of the day. Is I write down what I'm grateful for in my bullet journal with my daily habits. Like that's one of the daily habits that I'm tracking. Is I write down what I'm grateful for, or a few things that I'm grateful for, and that, and then I have this little thing called the Daily Rituals Oracle, which is very cute. And that's,
I love that for you.
Right. I was going to pick something else, and then I saw this in the last second. I was like, no, that's not Oracle. No, it is. I don't know if gratefulness is necessarily a card, but that's like a thing. Like they tell you to practice gratitude and that, and anything where they try to attract more, because there's another Daily Rituals like book. It's like attract more peace and love and positivity and blah 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 to your life, and like write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Write down things, and like just again, like thinking about it, having it on your mind brings it to the forefront, and then you can see more clearly, and then maybe it attracts more. Maybe that gratitude attracts more things for you to be grateful for, or you just have your eyes open and fucking.
I think it could be a little bit of both. And one of the things that I think about, like that piece you said about like not only love, gratitude, but love, peace, unity, whatever else you're trying to like bring into your life. Like I said, habitual practice will get you to the point of embodying enough to believe what you're practicing.
Yeah.
Which is how I think magic works a little bit too. Like when you can embody your spells, when you can embody the magic, which can include something like gratefulness, you can see your spells coming to fruition a lot more clearly than you would have before that. Because you can see how your magic like manifested. That's just, I don't know, a side note. What about your dreams?
Oh my God, you guys.
Oh my God, you guys.
You guys, they're so weird. This is from December 26th, 2022. There were a lot of aliens. They kept getting captured and put on display. In my dream, me and I think Zoe is my childhood best friend, saw a ship/UFO escape from like the alien zoo, and Zoe and I, the like is in my notes, by the way, you guys, comma, the alien zoo,
like,
and which is how you correctly write out like in your speech. I'm just saying.
It gives it enough pause.
Yeah. The Alien Zoo, because that's what apparently we were on like a zoo. They were in like a zoo, like probably.
How tragic.
It's probably not unlike that episode of Rick and Morty. But I also don't remember exactly. I'm just like, knowing me, it's probably not unlike what it was. Zoe and I at a food truck, in parentheses. So one of the UFOs escaped from like the alien zoo, and Zoe and I at a food truck started freaking out and high-fiving. There was a bungalow in, I want to say, in or near this crazy mall complex, which is actually shown up in dreams. So that was another dream that I had. There's this crazy mall oh wait, maybe we should read this one. This is from August the year before. Crazy dream last night. There was a city, but also a lake? ? We moved in the city, but we also visited the countryside. Lo was there. I think I babysat. I remember being on the run from something at the end, and the end looking vaguely like Blade Runner, whereas it was a lot of bright skies before some countryside. I feel like there was a boat on Lake Tahoe. And I'm remembering the same weird layout from, like, a shopping mall by the water. So I think that shopping mall came up in my dream the next year. The book says dining in a restaurant means to be frugal. A calm lake indicates a life of ease. A boat in smooth waters is a sign of promising possibilities. If the boat is in rough waters, you are weighed down with worry. I remember having some trepidation at first, but ultimately being glad for the boat ride. Seek moderation and balance in your life if you dream that you are in physical danger. Black. There is trouble on the horizon if you dreamed of anything black. This is hilarious. February 13th, 2022. Last night I had a dream. I kissed the tips of all of someone's fingers. I remember being very giddy about it. I'll have to look into it.
And I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. That's 2 days before my birthday. They were my fingers.
Love it. Yeah, let's headcanon, because I didn't write down whose fingers they were.
They're mine. I was saying hello, and you were saying, bless Jeebus.
Praise Jeebus. Praise Jeebus. I'm going to look up bungalow.
Yeah, dude. I was trying to look up some things, too, but my symbol dictionary is, like, really complicated. It has, like, a lot of bigger concepts.
I already looked into what that crazy boat dream. Bungalow burglar. No bungalow.
Here, let me Google it really quick. So a bungalow might be a sign that you're seeking refuge and sanctuary in your waking life.
Oh, interesting. To kiss and enjoy it foretells happiness and satisfaction. To dodge a kiss indicates illness.
Interesting.
Okay.
There is a dream of mine out there on the internet for all of the public to listen to. It's on YouTube. Did you know this?
I did not know this.
So, I think it was fall of 2023. Yeah. Mike from Paranormal Road Trippers, he was like doing this thing where he was putting out videos of like scary stories and stuff. And I had just had this really crazy dream of my own alien abduction and what had happened in that dream.
Okay, I pulled up Alien. If you interact with aliens, there are significant changes in your future. If you are an alien, you will have lasting friendships.
I love that. That's so cute. Interesting. Changes in the future. I can definitely see that. Well, it's really funny because, I put out the video and I didn't realize how much things would change in that whole year of perceiving something that I would call an alien or aliens or whatever. Like, the way that I think the alien story is that it's very, it's about colonization of a planet. Colonization, generally speaking. Invasion literature is colonization literature. And when I think about alien abductions, I don't take it too friendly because I'm just like, I'm a human. I'm a human. I belong on the earth. My feet belong on the fucking ground.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I didn't take it as like a threat, but the abduction scenario was really threatening. And after I had the dream, I started thinking that it was indicating change. And every time I interact with this phenomenon, I swear to God, things are changing. Last week we talked about the UAP hearing. And this week, since the UAP hearing, I've been trying to research more about the phenomenon and just like develop a deepening of my understanding so that when I communicate about the phenomenon, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything, but just trying to learn more and relay what I'm learning based on how people are willing to receive that information. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like, aliens are real, because everybody's kind of like, yeah, so what? But it's more like, okay, but how, like, if aliens this, then what? You know what I mean? And I'm more in the camp of the then what, instead of trying to convince everybody that aliens are real, because I don't think wholeheartedly it is aligned with the narrative that we've been sold since UFO mass hysteria in the 30s, 40s, right?
Wait,
How
you
it
don't
has
think
developed.
aliens being real is aligns with what we've been told
Yeah,
by the
no,
government?
yeah, no, I think aliens being real is some other type of ontological shock that we'll face in the future that has nothing to do with the US government or the military industrial complex. I think the reason why UAP is so close to the military is because they've conjured something that they don't know about, or that could be in similar, like a vein of aliens or whatever. It could be some other
Mm-hmm.
entity. I don't fucking know. But the other option is that the aliens are threatened by their activity in search of whatever truths they're trying to find out to weaponize, right? The aliens are like, you're trying to weaponize us, and we're going to say a big hell no and not cooperate. We might show you face, but it's not to do anything but open your mind to the possibility that, like, aliens are just, like, indescribable at this point. Just, like, we don't fucking know. And I don't want, and I'm not pretending that I know. I'm just, it's been bothering me in the last week, having sat through that UAP hearing. I have a lot of communication with these aliens. I have a lot of dreams about them. And I just hope that people kind of open their eyes to seeing it less like colonization, invasion literature, and more like caring for the earth and taking care of all the creatures on the earth. Like, if you can get along with your cat, if you can get along with your pet fish, if you can get along with the bear that's in the woods 2 cities away from you, then you should be able to get along with aliens. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like my thing about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been
I
bothering me. I think
also
that's why I
feel
bring it
like
up.
we would have already been destroyed by now if aliens were out to get us. Like, that's the other thing. You think we'd still fucking be here if they don't give a
Don't play.
fuck about us?
Don't
Like,
play. Don't play like that. You know what I mean?
what?
Don't. Um.
Oh.
By
Yeah.
like making that statement, yeah. And like the other thing is, it's like a fucking joke, anyways, because it's like that's what you want. It's not what the aliens want. It's what you
Yeah.
can't get out of your fucking head.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so I was listening. Sorry, I wanted to segue into something. I wanted to ask you a question. If you had ever heard of this concept before. It's called Watiko. Have you ever heard of Watiko?
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna leave it there. It is an indigenous way of knowing about a sickness of the spirit, essentially, sickness of the soul. It's indigenous wisdom, but it's been written about by white people to sort of translate it into the English language as a concept and visit what the concept would mean in a real world application in modern times. I'm listening to a podcast and I haven't finished it, so I don't want to like talk too much about Watiko, but I'm listening to Back from the Borderline by Molly Adler, who has also seen UAP, or she's seen the phenomenon, and she's she's discussing the UAP hearing as well, and she brings up Watiko. So that might be something for another episode we'll get on, but like you keep it in your mind, audience, keep Watiko in your mind, research it for yourself. I think it's an interesting tidbit to add on top of the layers of the UAP that we've been talking about in the last couple episodes, and we'll probably continue to talk about.
Yeah.
It's heavy too, so just be careful when you're going about that kind of stuff. Make sure you're safe. But that brings me to like that question we kind of sat with in the beginning, which was about the unconscious or the collective unconscious, or dreams being like states like meditation or altered states of consciousness, or a place. I guess in thinking about dreams, what then does it have to do with our waking lives? What's your opinion on like how much should we be going from one to the other, and what does that balance look like to you of I'm asleep, I'm awake?
We definitely need sleep. So sleep as much as possible. Like that's the thing. I don't know that dreams are I've always just been under the assumption that dreams are just your way of processing and organizing your memories and like thoughts and stuff like that. Because like I had a dream that had a lot to do with work on Friday. Like usually some dreams have to do with what I've been going through and processing. However, I did have a dream. Where did I like? This is, but I did have like a recently like a precognitive dream, which was wild. I've never had one of those before, where like I like dreamt something and then it literally happened the next day. Well, not literally happened, but something very similar happened the next day, which was this is on this was on Tuesday, November 5th. That I wrote this down. So on the 4th, I had this dream. In a dream last night that I ditched work. I took a K, which is a streetcar. I was at my childhood home. I took a streetcar, the K, from my childhood home. I took a K, cried halfway through the ride when I realized I could have driven, walked into the doors of my restaurant. I don't own it. I just work there. And I'm not revealing the name of it. Walked into the doors and walked right out again and went to a spa. No calls, no texts, just walked the fuck away, but realized it after my spa treatments. Like, I literally, like, went to the spa and then was like, wait, did I no call, no show? Or was I just, like, not on the schedule? Because I was, like, confused about that. Anyway, whatever. And then I literally, our sink was fucked up and I had to be here for the fucking plumber and shit like that. So I ended up calling out of work that day. Like, I ended up absolutely ditching work and then just hanging out at home doing journaling and being on the phone with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, like, we might be plugging into the collective unconscious, or I love the Akashic Records too, introduced by our girl Helena Blavatsky. Like the Akashic
I didn't know it was her that did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
interesting.
I did not know that until, well, I probably did because I've listened to podcasts about the Akashic Records, but I did not retain that information until yesterday. Yeah, because like the Akashic Records, that's a record of everything, every thought, every feeling that everybody's ever had, and it's like in the ether for you to access.
It reminds me of the movie Inside Out with the little emotions. I'm pretty sure they have like all of the emotions that a person's ever felt, like connected to the neurotransmitters that they send them through. Mm-hmm. They are like stored in the brain. Like when they go throughout parts of the brain, you can see these walls of the orbs. It's pretty fascinating.
Interesting. I don't think that's unlike actual neurology. Like your synapses.
No, I know. That's what I'm kind of saying. Like when we think of like the way our brain processes stuff, it's like we can see that mirrored in the real world. Like a library, like an archive, like Akashic records, metaphorically speaking. But like, you know what I mean? These things exist in when I saw Inside Out, the second one especially, and I only saw part of the second one, but the second one, it
I
really
never
puts
saw
into
it.
the second one puts into perspective how a person grows, and so things start changing in a brain. So like the concept of the second one is Riley, the little kid, she's like a little older and she starts developing anxiety and she doesn't know, and joy, the primary emotion, I think Amy Poehler plays Joy,
Yeah.
can't, she can't like cope with the anxiety, and so they end up having like an issue. That's the whole like plot of the movie. But the way they symbolize what it's like to be in a person's mind is absolutely accurate, and absolutely fascinating how they depict it in a children's movie. So yeah, I don't know that much about Akashic Records, so I can't say much about that. But when I do think about how the mind stores things, like, and then how our body gets laid to rest in the earth very much has that storage, of that process that has happened already in our bodies. We are part of the earth, and I think, you know,
Is that how ley lines form?
dude, LOL. No, but I was gonna say that's how I feel like about aliens. Is like this guy Bernardo Kastrup writes this article about how we do not know that millions of years ago that different forms of life had developed technologies to communicate in such a way, that it be recycled through the earth and brought back out again for new forms of life to see and understand. And I find that fascinating because it's like, okay, what if like some bug civilization like had a developed technology that got recycled enough for us to be communicating with at this point, because that technology knows something about our time and place that it also maybe mirrored in that time and place in which it existed. I don't know. It's conceptually a lot, but it's also fun if you're into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I think it's fascinating that you, because you know Haley says the same thing about dreams. She's like, you just went to sleep, babe. Like, don't worry about it. You woke up and you had a crazy dream. Don't worry about it. She's always like, she always gets me to not buy into the content of the dream. She's always like, just it was a dream, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not communicating with your dead father every night.
Yeah. I like that I would pay attention to. And like the content, oh my god, speaking of the content of like not paying attention to the content of a dream, I remember I was on vacation with the funniest thing. I woke up, like I had been like I was at the beach house. Oh my god. I was at my friend's house, their old house that they had in college. And it was like a whole ass lasagna, and Amy was like, I was like, I'd eat that, and then she literally was making full eye contact with me and threw out the entire lasagna, like, in front of, and I was
She
just
was
like,
wasting food right in front of you.
I
and
was
you
literally,
yelled at
and I
her
remember,
she didn't give a shit.
woke up screaming and crying, like, why would she do that to me? Like,
It's lasagna, and I'm Garfield.
No, literally, and she like, it was so funny. She was like, oh, I can't believe you would even dream of me doing that to you. She's like, I would never waste food, period. I especially wouldn't waste lasagna. Like she was like, bitch, I hate you for thinking that. She's like, why would you even think that? And I was like, I'm having trouble with like this other friend of mine. I was like, I'm feeling really, really neglected in this other relationship. She was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I was like, I couldn't believe it though. Like that would like, yeah, shit like that. I'm like, I can't pay attention. I also have such crazy shit like that. Like there's lots of you know those tubes in Futurama that people like travel through. I see a lot of those in my dreams.
Wow, that's fascinating. Do you ever get the dream where you're driving up a highway that's shooting into the sky? Like it's just a directly vertical highway. Apparently, this is a dream that a lot of people have, and I have that dream. I have that dream where I don't have it very often, but I've had it multiple times. And what happens is I get scared, and then like I'm afraid the car is gonna fall back down just because gravity.
Sure,
and
of course.
Yeah, and then we just start going really fast. I also have this dream, this recurring dream of a it's like a weird bridge system, but it's not actually a bridge. It's just this weird system of mechanics, kind of like a gondola, but it also has like a part below for the boats to go. And basically takes people from one end of like a massive body of water to another end of the massive body of water. But the thing about it is like the water is like a river in that it streams. And so as you're going down the gondola, everything is streaming really fast that way. And so if you drop out of the gondola, which I've dreamt about several times, like the gondola just dropping out into the water, or me, then I'm in the water and I'm like stuck in this like river, and there's a bunch of boats everywhere and a bunch of like crazy shit. Like it looks like a port almost, but it's like made for, it's almost like a subway port. I have a lot of dreams about liminal spaces, like for traveling. It's very weird because I have this other dream about an airport. I have this other dream about a subway system in Boston. I have dreams a lot where I'm stuck in Boston.
You have dreams about the tea?
Yeah.
Boston was very traumatic for you, so I understand if you're still processing it. I have a lot of dreams about my teeth falling out. That's one of my recurring dreams.
I've had a dream where I've had a crown of teeth on my head, like growing out of my head. Yeah. Like Jesus' crown of thorns. His teeth.
That is fucking gnarly.
Dude, teeth in the dreams are gnarly.
Dreaming about teeth falling out is a sign of a major transition or rebirth. Others say it symbolizes insecurities, inner weaknesses, poor communication, or loss of control in life. Rotting teeth symbolizes anxieties and fears. Crumbling, we've had this one too, crumbling at fears of something valuable collapsing from within.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the only like just like general like dream, because I'm like, this is the one recurring dream. I haven't had enough dreams about falling or flying or anything. Like, I mean, I've had those dreams, but like seeing the tubes. I see a lot of the tubes that people travel in, like in Futurama, in any kind of cityscape dream that I have. And I do have recurring dreams about my teeth falling in like really stressful times in my life. Like,
yeah.
I think when I had withdrawals, like from alcohol, like it was the last time I had a lot of teeth falling out. Right before I started getting my dental work done, because my teeth are fucking also rotting out of my face in the real waking world. So, well, not anymore. I'm getting them handled, but before I had a lot of dreams about teeth, like just.
Yeah, it's a major point of anxiety. Not only, I think that's like the point about the processing is like it's almost like dreams are the two birds with one stone, where it's like something maybe magical, mystical, philosophical, but also like your waking world influences exactly what you're gonna dream.
Yeah.
And I think your dreams just have a really weird way of communicating with you that symbology that you read into. And I think that's why Haley's advice is sometimes worth it, and that is, like, don't always pay attention to the content of your dreams, because your waking life, when you're awake, you still gotta handle that shit. You still gotta handle it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
and Ames
that
would
might
never
be the
waste
part
food.
to focus on. Yeah. Don't waste your goddamn lasagna, people.
Don't be wasting lasagna, you know? But the symbolic thing was that I had a friend that was fucking me over. You know, like that one was really, really obvious to me. There's some that are like less obvious. Like, what, dreaming of kissing somebody's fingertips. Your fingertips, excuse me. Because it was before your birthday. That makes sense. The date all checks out now. But,
checks out.
You know, like, why was I dreaming about that? I love the idea of the collective unconscious being from the actual structures of the brain. Like the actual inherited structure of the brain. Because we do have all these crazy archetypes of like the fucking that we see throughout the fucking year. I mean, people tell us the same stories over and over and over again, but like, how did all of these cultures have fucking pyramids? You know, because it's a fucking powerful fucking structure. You know, like these are like. The archetypes are powerful images that resonate regardless of...
Across time, space, and culture, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, too.
Yeah. I don't think that the fucking pyramids were aliens, actually. I think it was people with our... This is theory of everything. We may have to cut this and talk about this in a different thing, but, like, Like, it's not, maybe aliens help direct and like situate it and stuff like that, but I think we're capable of telekinetic bullshit and all the interference from the cell phones and people, because a lot of these things are also on like ley lines. Or, anyway,
It only makes sense that there are remnants within us that are left over. Because if you think about how therapists and like the psychology world is now buying into generational trauma is just one aspect of that leftover piece, right?
no.
But then there's the collective piece also, which is we're all human and we all experience suffering and we all experience joy and love. And what does that mean philosophically? What does it mean for us individually? What does it mean for us in groups? What does it mean for us, outside our dreams? Have you ever been able to lucid dream?
Apparently, apparently I can, because I think that's what it is when you go back to the same dream. I don't know. So my understanding of lucid dreaming comes from the episode of Bob's Burgers in which Gene is trying to lucid dream.
That is hysterical. I do remember that dream, and he was really upset, right? He was really upset until he finally had the dream he wanted.
He was
right?
like trying to find the perfect song. Like, he had the perfect song in this dream.
And he was like, I need to lucid dream so I can go back and play the song, right?
Yeah.
That's what he tried to do.
Yeah.
So that lucid dream basically is just that you're lucid in your dream. So you're not like, you realize at some point in your dream that you're actually awake. So it doesn't have to do necessarily with the repetitiveness, although it can, because the repetitiveness might actually wake you up. And so I think what Gene in that episode is trying to do is trigger the lucidity so that he can write down when he wakes up what he saw.
Yeah.
And I've been able to lucid dream a couple times. I've only been able to lucid dream and communicate one time. And it was a dream that I had where at the end of the dream, I don't remember anything before it, but at the end of the dream, I had seen a white wolf in a snowy forest scene. And he was prowling, he was growling at me, and I stopped and I realized I'm in danger. And then I looked at him and I was like, this is a wolf. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm dreaming. And as I realized that I was lucid, I started to realize, oh, I can communicate with this wolf. And so I stopped and I said, hey, wolf, what would you like to communicate with me? And I couldn't hear what he said back, but his mouth was moving as if he were talking. And he said something with an R. The first letter of that word he said back to me was R, and then I woke up.
Does?
So I just kind of saw his mouth go, and then it was like I couldn't get the rest of the message. When I woke up, I thought he said something like run or something else. And so I don't know what he meant by it, and I don't know what the message ever was, but it was a white wolf. It didn't look like a coyote, it didn't look like a fox or anything. It was like a wolf.
Let's look this up. Because this is wild. Wolf. If a wolf is featured in your dream, financial distress is in your future. Okay, that's it.
That's it? That's funny because...
I couldn't even find white. They don't have white in here? Because they must have black. Because I wrote down what black means.
It's interesting that it says that, because I did have that dream before a financial disaster of my life. But here, I don't know if it's connected though. So I have an entry that says wolf, symbolic of valor among the Romans and the Egyptians. It also appears as a guardian in great monuments. In Nordic mythology, we are told of Fenrir, right? Fenrir. It says Fenris.
Fenris, yeah.
Fenris.
Fenris is the name.
I thought it was Fenrir.
No.
It is also said that with the twilight of the gods at the end of the world, the monster then would break out of the prison. The Nordic mythology presupposes that cosmic order is possible through the temporary shackling of the chaotic and destructive potential of the universe, a potential which, through the process of symbolic inversion, must triumph at the end. The myth is also connected with the other concept of final annihilation of the world, whether by water or fire. Fascinating. So I was probably dreaming about asking about the end of the world, and that wolf was like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Fenris. Well, Fenris is okay. It is, so it's so it is Fenrir. Why am I remembering Fenris?
It's a different language. It could be both.
It could probably be both, and probably just different reasons. Fenrir, is, well, he's one of the people. So he is one of Loki's children, and so it's like, and Odin gets the vision about Ragnarok, and then
Right.
and then he starts locking up Loki's children that are supposed to fucking be really important in Ragnarok. He sends Hel to Hel. And then, she had no dominion over the dead until she gets sent to Hell, right? It's like kind of like Odin, like it's the self-fulfilling prophecy. Fenrir,
I was gonna say that. I was like, he's making it
Fenris
happen.
wolf is what I've also heard. I think I'm like, that's what I'm like confusing. I've heard the Fenris wolf. Fenrir is one of the kids. He was shown with Tyr. Yeah, it's Tyr.
Yeah, Tyr, the
and
god of war.
Yeah, and then he fucking bites off Tyr's hand after he gets put into the chains that he can't break out of. He's supposed to break out of them during Ragnarok. And then, how is Jormungandr? I forget how Jormungandr plays into it, because this is all just off the top of my head.
Beautiful work off the top of your head, by the way.
I've watched that Ragnarok video from Overly Sarcastic Productions so many times.
I
But
should watch it now
Jormungandr,
that we've talked about my wolf dream.
so good. Oh my god. The world snake. I mean, he was just like a little serpent, and then they put him into the fucking thing, and then he becomes the actual world snake.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to bring about the end of the world, so that makes sense that a wolf would be a symbol of the end of the world.
Interesting.
But also the wolf, the she-wolf raised Romulus and Remus, so I get why that would be like the beginning of an empire for Romans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild that wolves mean such different things in different cultures.
Yeah, and wolves are very powerful figures, so it's like interesting that they hold so much meaning too, like big meaning. And it's not just like like a knot or like a snake. Or a snake might hold big meaning too. But anyways, I digress. Lucid dreaming. I don't know how to help people lucid dream. I think there are books out there. I think that if you have lucid dreamt before, the best way I think people have described to me how to lucid dream is stop smoking weed, which I will never do. So, then the other thing is, you have to remember, like, when you become lucid, to try to communicate is like the best thing you can do to stay in the dream and be lucid. Just try to communicate. Like, don't scare yourself into a waking state. It's hard. It's a lot harder than I talk about. But good luck to those dream explorers who decide to be lucid up in those realms. Up in that psyche.
Let us know if you do lucid dream. Let us know if it is a gateway into another realm. I would love that. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that that's not what I've believed for the last 29 years.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's a lot of both.
But apparently,
I don't know.
I've had some prophetic. I've had one vaguely prophetic dream in my life. What? And I didn't no call no show. I ended up not going to work that day. So
you were warned early that you were going to take a rest.
I literally woke up and was like, "Oh, that would be so good."
And then the plumber called. You're like, "Oh."
And then I had to deal with the plumbing. And then I looked at my phone and was like, "Oh, good God. There is a leak to deal with."
Yeah, dude, we had a leak too recently that the plumber came. You were there.
I remember.
Okay, anything else?
Noradrenaline and serotonin are absent while dreaming, which makes it hard to remember dreams.
Wow.
That's more cool. You know.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, no, that was like one of my notes that I still had.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Files from the Other Side. You can find us on Instagram at Files from the Other Side. Share this podcast if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe.
And we'll see you on the other side.